Young Drunk.
Two.
Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission. 2 men, 1 podcast. Every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Tribble. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, we are closing out September, which means it is our last edition of Doc to School. And boy, do we have a good one for you tonight as we are looking at the H in HBCUs with Tell Them We Are Rising, the story of black universities and colleges, brought to you on the mission by our longtime dear friend of the Be Real Black Cinema Club, Stephanye Watts.
Hey, y'all.
Stephanie,
How are you?
Good. I'm glad to be
HBCU
back.
graduate herself.
Period.
Repping your colors.
I have to.
Yeah?
Shout out to Clark Atlanta.
Nice.
And everybody else too, but specifically shout out to Clark Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Hey, you got your pride.
That's right. That's
Period.
right.
Hold it down.
Like my mom says, my child and my money
I
went
know
to
that's
Clark
right.
Atlanta University.
I know that's right. And the money got to get there before the child.
Listen, hello.
Amen. Thank you for taking the time to join us, because when we reached out to you about joining us, the first thing you said is, I love documentaries. What? When?
No, for real. That's my favorite genre of film.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
What's your favorite documentary?
Ooh. Oh, that's hard. We got to like break it down by like true crime or music, because I love so many. Ooh. Well, I feel like right now, Tell Them We Are Rising is my favorite because
Okay.
I watch it so much because I'm just obnoxious about the HBCU experience. However, I loved the Nina Simone one because it like destroyed me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I didn't
that is
know a lot
beautiful.
about her, and I was
That's
like,
a good
whoa. We got some AUC family in the room. And we'll focus on music because music is like my thing.
Okay.
I love Summer of Soul so
Summer of
much.
Soul is good.
Yeah.
Very
Watt
good.
Stacks, I love.
Watt Stacks,
Lovely.
A lot of people don't know about Watt Stacks, really. And that is
Crazy.
so great.
I love Watt Stacks. I love Aretha Franklin's Amazing Grace
Oh, my
documentary.
goodness.
Yes.
It was also very like haunting, a haunting watch. The Amy Winehouse one ruined my life. I was sad for like 2 weeks. I just love documentaries. I just like knowing things. I think because I grew up as somebody that watched E-Entertainment TV all the time, and they always had these kind of behind the scenes or whatever. So that's always my thing. Plus, I'm just newsy. So I need to know stuff.
Right.
So I love docs. You can give me a doc anytime.
All right. Well, you chose a good one for the
Exactly.
show mission tonight. So thank you so much. Thank you for having fun with us and joining us. And Stephanie is here because she also is our partner with the Be Real Micheaux screening series, which will be concluding for 2024 this October 23rd, as we will be screening Attack the Block
Yes, sir.
at the Bryn Mawr Film Institute, Wednesday, October 23rd. Tickets are on sale right now at brynmarfilm.org.
Did you say we conclude this season?
That's right, this season. You know what?
Because season implies.
Yes, because now it can be told
Hey.
that the Be Real Micheaux screening series will be returning to the Bryn Mawr Film Institute in 2025
Yes, sir.
as well.
Crowd goes wild.
The crowd goes wild. We were actually just meeting before we turned on the cameras, just going through and breaking down the whole full year calendar for 2025. We can't wait for you to for us to be able to announce it. We got to get in touch with our man Jacob at Bryn Mawr, make sure we dot the I's, cross the T's. But the Be Real Micheaux screening series returns in 2025 to Bryn Mawr Film Institute, and we are very, very excited for that. Very excited to stay in partnership with Stephanie.
Thanks, y'all. I like working with y'all.
Oh, good, because we have a couple of other opportunities coming up in 2025 too that we gonna be running by Stephanie's. Then she dangled that. And make
Then
it
I say
happen.
I'm so tired. Now I'm like, ooh, what? What else y'all got?
Now, I pitched that we just showed the fish that saves Pittsburgh, and they shot me down. But
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Right.
All right. Hey, we did The Last Dragon this year. Okay. Okay. So
And Last Dragon was a hit with people.
Yes, it was.
It was a bomb turnout.
Yes, it was.
It was.
The Fisher says Pittsburgh is about a basketball team that wins a championship through the power of 70s astrology. Still not selling it?
No.
If some cult stuff gets involved, though, I'll tap in because I also love cult documentaries.
Okay. Speaking of a great turnout, I actually was at the most recent gathering of the Be Real Black Cinema Club, where they screened Mo Better Blues.
Yes.
Nice.
Very nice turnout.
Yes.
A lot of the youth came.
Yeah.
So that was really cool because, Spike is Spike, and I expect this to be a very different crowd. So it was nice to see a bunch of Gen Z in the building.
Yeah.
Tapping in.
And they were really riveted to the screen.
Oh, for sure. But how can you not love the Mo Better?
Mo Better makes it Mo Better.
Hey.
And it's a great film to see on a big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that was a good time.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We had a ball.
We
had a ball. All right. We've got a big show for you this evening, folks. Thank you to each and every one of you out there who are watching us as we stream live from Young Chunk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace, to Instagram, to Facebook, and of course to YouTube, where all of our missionaries are out there in the chat. Hello, missionaries.
good evening, one and all.
Hey.
I see Farrell Blackwell is looking for a Chicago Summer 2025 Micheaux mission appearance. We're going to see what we can make happen for you.
We're trying to work things out.
We're trying to work things out. All right. And I see Deborah Battle said, hello, Stephanie.
Hi. Deborah Battle is always in the comments, and I always look forward to her live commentary on Tuesdays.
Oh, between her, Farrell, and Robert, everybody, they go in. That's why sometimes me and Vincent sit here and we don't look, we'll be distracted.
I'm actually thinking it right now.
This will be all day conversation. We can't go there. But we do like to hear from you, missionaries, and especially when you send us your emails, or as we like to call them,
Missives from the missionaries.
So what else is going on, Lynn?
we have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Missives from the missionaries.
Missives from the missionaries. Vincent, we have an email from Jacob Bloomfield.
Hey, what's up, Jacob?
Hope you are having a great week. My name is Jacob, longtime listener, first-time caller. I just read this delightful article conversation about Wild Wild West featuring critics Odie Henderson and Robert Daniels, and I thought you might enjoy it too. It's about the Wild Wild West at 25 years old, the movie. Wild Wild
Sure,
West.
of course.
I don't know whether you've had Odie Henderson on your show before, but please book him as a guest if you haven't already. I don't know him personally, but his reviews are always a joy to read. I imagine he'd be fun and enlightening company. Best wishes, Dr. Jacob Bloomfield of the University of Kent.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jacob, and thank you for the recommendation. And we will certainly look into that.
We definitely will look into that.
yeah.
All right.
Have you all reviewed Wild Wild West?
We have not. We have not. Although my hot take is that the Wild Wild West is not as bad as everyone says it is.
It was cute for the time.
Okay.
I knew he's going to say that.
I am not going to say anything. I reserve judgment until when we review it.
Right.
We have another email. This is from Nicole Sherman.
Hey, what's up, Nicole?
Battle of the Black Movie Years.
Okay. All right.
Greetings to Len and Vincent and missionaries. A random thought, but I wish we could petition Len
To allow some joy into his heart.
No. Let's see. What? I'm always dubious when I see that. We read these live, so first time seeing this. A random thought, but I wish we could petition Len to do voiceover work.
Oh, okay.
Be in his LeVar Burton / Morgan Freeman bag. Also, we should take time to appreciate Len's new glasses. Len the cool cat.
I can't.
There you go.
The missionaries be on point. They noticed the new glasses. I know that's right.
Oh my God. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. She continues, I have a fun game discussion for you both. The battle of the movie years pertaining to black movies. They are milestone years since we're in 2024. For starters, the years I chose are black movies that came out in 1974 and 1989 versus 1984 and 1994. For Team A, 1974 and 89, it's Foxy Brown, Claudine, Do the Right Thing, and Lean on Me.
Okay.
For Team B, 84 and 94, we have A Soldier's Story, Beverly Hills Cop, Sugar Hill with Wesley Snipes,
Yes.
and Drop Squad. The criteria is how well the movies hold up,
Okay.
their impact, the quality of the film, and overall enjoyment. I will leave you guys to discuss, and may the best team win. Love the show as always, from a fellow missionary, Nicole.
That was good.
That's a good.
This
that's
is a good game.
matchup.
Ooh, so
Y'all could do a whole episode on that, honestly.
okay. This might be a new segment going forward. Because I like this. All right, so 74 and 89, you got Foxy Brown, Claudine, Do the Right Thing, and Lean on Me. Well, Do the Right Thing, Jesus, I mean, like, great on a curve like a hell.
Right.
Versus A Soldier's Story, Beverly Hills Cop, the Wesley Snipes Sugar Hill, and Drop Squad. Okay. I'm going to say, see, Do the Right Thing, like, just,
Yeah.
that messes the curve up so
Beverly Hills Cop is the only thing that kind of can stand up to Do the Right Thing. On the
probably
other team.
because of impact and because of
Impact and legacy.
legacy. Yeah. Because I would argue that A Soldier's Story is probably in its way as good quality as far as quality.
Oh, absolutely.
With Do the
100%.
Right Thing.
But that's a deep cut. Like, I feel like that's like top-notch blackness. Like, everybody didn't see A Soldier Story.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's
Even though
true.
we were forced to watch it in like 3rd grade. I went to a crazy elementary school, y'all.
It sounds like a camp, like a boot camp. 3rd graders watching A Soldier Story.
It was a lot, y'all.
Get all you geechies in front of the TV.
You know, we slit his throat. That ignorant Negro had the nerve to ask, what had he done wrong? Okay, kids, time for recess.
Basically, shout out to Ivy League.
Nap time. Get your geeky asses in bed. Well, yeah, I think Do the Right Thing kind of like messes up the curve because Drop Squad. I know you love Drop Squad, but I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
And isn't Claudine on the Do the Right Thing
Yes,
team?
it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
Claudine
Lean on Me.
and Foxy Brown.
Right.
That wasn't even fair.
That's not even. That's not fair at all, man.
Yeah. And you know, we have a soft spot for 1989 here on this show.
That's true. But like, from '84? Couldn't you have gotten Purple Rain? Isn't that '84?
That sounds about right.
In 94, wasn't that Juice? But I watched y'all Juice episode. And y'all had thoughts. But Juice still could have been on there. Ain't that
Juice
94?
could have been on there.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and also whatchamacallit came out in '84, y'all movie, The Last Dragon.
Y'all, I just got here. I saw it for the first time with the group.
No. When he says y'all, he means black people.
Oh. At large. He means African America at large.
Right. Like, clearly, I mean, like, it's a consensus.
He means the diaspora.
Right. You know.
That's a good one. Yeah, but I think Do the Right Thing kind of like messes up the curve there. But thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.
Appreciate that email.
Yeah.
We have another email. This is from Ron Covington.
Hey, what's up, Ron?
who finally listened to your take on Purple Rain.
Okay.
I saw it first in Washington, D.C., and then again at a big showing in San Diego that summer. And all my friends showed up, and it was a big party with all of us enjoying ourselves. A few years prior, I'd co-written and starred in a couple of funk rock musicals on stage, and I wanted to see Prince's take on a musical on film. Well, excuse us, Ron.
All right.
While my shows were more ingrained in the musical style where the songs are an extension of the dialogue and action to advance the story, Prince's vision was more of a story with music than a tale where the songs helped carry the story and reveal character. Well, we talked about that, how Purple Rain is basically...
Sure, it's almost a concert film.
It's a movie wrapped around a concert film.
Yeah.
This got me thinking about the different kinds of musical films. My favorites, Jesus Christ Superstar and Tommy, are rock operas and completely sung through. Carmen, a hip opera with Beyonce and Mos Def.
Yes.
And the filmed version of Hamilton use rap in much the same way as song through pieces. Then you have films that might have 5 or 6 songs, like some Disney animated fare that function as a set piece, but the dialogue and action happen outside of the music. Then finally, you have rock-themed stories where the music defines the character, and the character may sing songs in a concert situation, but it doesn't necessarily move the story. There are probably other variations too. My question is, what current black music star do you think, this is a perfect one for you, Stephanie, what current black music star do you think would have a chance at creating a successful music-themed movie? And what kind of film in that genre would you like to see? As always, keep passing the mic. Ron Covington.
Oh, thank you, Ron.
Y'all get some really good questions on this show.
Hey, man, the missionaries,
They don't
I love
play
the
around.
missionaries.
it's a sharp bunch.
I have my answer. I'm ready.
Go.
Okay, go.
Doja Cat.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's a good one.
She's so theatrical. She is, and she's so well versed in so many different genres of music that I think she could do a Jesus Christ Superstar type film and just be kooky and weird because she's willing to do whatever for a visual and can just flow through different genres. She can rap, she can sing, she can dance. Doja Cat.
That's a good one. That is.
And also, because I'm crazy, I went to see her tour in London, and the London show was different from the U.S. The U.S. she had dancers and all this set, whatever. But in Europe, it was just her on stage. She didn't change her outfit. Like, it was just her.
Was it
background singers.
still like same size setting?
Huge venue, but
Really?
it was nothing happening on stage but fire here and there, and her by herself just like going crazy.
Wow.
And to have such a command of people when it's just you by yourself, I was like, oh, she's a star. So she could carry a film. She could do a one-woman film, and it would be ridiculous. So,
I'm curious, which show did you enjoy more?
I didn't see in real life the U.S. I watched on YouTube.
Okay.
But my friends went to both, and they said the Europe was better because it was literally just her.
Right.
And you're
carrying
just
the
focusing
show.
on her. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was like no, you know how when you go to a concert, they have things on the screen and it's like smoke and all that. It was just her.
Yeah.
Going nuts in a huge stadium. Like imagine like one person at the Wells Fargo.
Okay.
Wow.
That was her. And everyone was just standing there just amazed.
Wow. That's actually a good choice, Doja Cat.
Very nice.
Doja Cat. I like that. Did you have an idea of?
Janelle Monáe.
Oh yeah, Janelle
That's
would be
a good
good.
one,
Something
too.
trippy as well. She could
'Cause,
do like
you know,
a Alice in Wonderland.
much like you said, very theatrical, very much has this visual language that she leans into. She can sing, and then spoiler, she's a good actress. So
That's a good
pretty.
one. And I guess I'll stay with women because my first thought was Jill Scott.
Ooh.
Same
sing
thing.
and good actress.
Good actress, underrated actress,
Underrated actress.
underappreciated actress.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can sing pretty much. And I think in a musical, she could do traditional, she can do contemporary, she can get funky with it as well. She can show her full range
Sure.
and really have a lot of fun.
Sure, and certainly it gives me, I have to talk about one of my favorite shows of all time, the number one ladies.
Oh, I
Detective
love
Agency,
that.
with Jill Scott and Anika Noni Rose solving crimes in Africa.
It was so good.
It was so good.
We're alone in this again.
It's not many of us.
No. I just have never seen it. It's not a matter of not liking it.
In your defense, most people haven't.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like 12 of us who watched it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah.
I do want to see it. It's on Max. It's
Yeah.
still available, but I haven't seen it. But thank you for that email.
Yes,
Appreciate it,
thank
Ron.
you. Thank you.
All right, and we have one more email for you. This is
Okay.
from Michael Lockett.
What's up, Michael?
He ain't heavy. He's my brother, sister, mother, father.
Okay.
Len and Vince, I love y'all. You two always bring the perfect balance of humility, insight, and comedy. You took the heavy topic of when the levees broke and lightened the load with the critique and comments. Lightened, not minimize the tragedy. I wholeheartedly agree Katrina should be memorialized every year. I don't have the numbers to back this up, but off the top of my head, I cannot think of a natural disaster that claimed this many U.S. citizens at once, along with destroying so much of one area of the country. That's very true. Some of my friends who have homes down there told me how the population shifted once the rebuild was going in earnest. Black communities were completely gentrified and filled with hipsters who came down to Habitat Humanity and never left those new homes. A very heavy subject. On my time travels, I visited you two, George Carmona and Dr. Lisa McGill and Malcolm X.
Yeah.
I so wanted to do the stutter, but it is socially unacceptable on the air. I hadn't seen this in about a decade, and it ages so very well. Denzel, like in his many other roles, disappears, as does Angela Bassett. This film, in my opinion, could have been even better had he allowed his and Betty's relationship to shine and fill out Malcolm's arc. I agree with you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
These two films were so heavy that I had to get out of the funk, and thankfully had the Binge Lounge Cartoon Conspiracies episode sitting there. Lord, that OJ moon landing had me shook.
Look.
Do you know about the OJ moon
I
landing?
do not want to know.
Tell her.
Well, she said she doesn't want to know.
I do want to know, actually.
So, my favorite conspiracy are moon conspiracies.
Moon landing conspiracy.
Moon landing conspiracies, because there are two sides. Like there's obviously they faked the moon landing, and I love those stories. But then I also love the stories that we actually went to the moon,
Okay.
but somebody was there and told us y'all need to go back home.
Oh.
Because think about it. You've been living in history. When's the last time we went and explored somewhere and then didn't keep going back?
Right. This is true.
Why ain't we been back to the moon?
This is true.
Anyway, my favorite conspiracy is that O.J. Simpson, who you may or may not know, was in a film called Capricorn 1. Have you ever heard of Capricorn 1?
No, I haven't.
Capricorn 1 was a
look,
film
sorry.
in the 70s that was about a faked Mars landing.
Okay.
O.J. Simpson plays one of the astronauts because he was America's favorite black man in 1970, right behind Bill Cosby. Sidebar, America is really bad at picking their favorite black man.
Well.
Yes. They sidestepped Sidney Poitier.
Right. This is our favorite black man. We're not picking no more favorite black man until Puffy.
Right, exactly.
Anyway, the conspiracy is one of the consultants on Capricorn 1 was, of course, from NASA.
Okay.
Because OJ is America's favorite white man, the consultant told OJ, this movie is based on what we really did with the moon landing. We faked the moon landing. And because I trust you, here's all the paperwork, this is the thing that can expose all of it. All I ask is that you don't expose it until after I die. Because I don't want to, power to be. And then the dude died. And before OJ could expose it, they framed him for the murders.
Oh, that's deep. Somebody dig
It's
OJ
actually
up so
not,
we can really.
It's actually not that deep. It helps if you've been drinking fairly heavily. In wings.
Because y'all really went into it.
Right.
Wild. But also they talk about the moon landing in Summer of Soul documentary.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
very
Yes,
much.
they do.
Michael continues. Have either of you checked out the Future Quest, Johnny Quest comics, or the Space Ghost comics? Space Ghost is dark and brutal. There's a reason he's feared. I have checked out the Future Quest.
Wait, that's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut for comic book lovers.
Right?
It's a very, very deep cut.
I love those Future Quest comics.
But not too deep because we both have them.
It's just going from Katrina to comics for me.
It's
It took a very hard pivot.
Look, you
I was
can't.
ready to talk about that episode because it was so good.
Oh, thank you. You can't eat before you come on the show because you gotta keep,
On your toes.
keep it light.
Quick, we'll get to your comment about the episode.
Yes.
But he has a quick question.
Okay.
Since you mentioned revamping Super Stretch and Micro Woman, who would you guys want to cast for the voiceover work for Super Stretch and Micro Woman? For you?
I remember Super Stretch.
You do?
Yeah, it's like, and it was like a toy too. Like
Oh,
in the
you're
80s.
You're thinking about Stretch Armstrong.
Oh.
Super Stretch and Micro Woman was actually a 70s cartoon. It was actually part of an anthology
That was
series.
a decade before me. I'm an 80s baby. I know I look young, y'all, but
But they were the first black cartoon superheroes.
Yes, and they were a married couple, and he could stretch and she could shrink down. Oh, the Super Stretch and
Okay.
Micro Woman. You know who I would cast to do the voiceover work if we were doing a revamp?
Who?
I would cast Lakeith Stansfield and
Yeah, I don't know because I'm picking the Queen for Micro.
Insecure.
Oh, yeah.
Issa Rae.
Right, sure.
they didn't do good as a couple though in the last movie they were in.
True, but I think that voice work, I think they could
Might make it a little different.
maybe pull it off.
I'm always.
Oh, you know what? I scratch that. That's not who I'm going to cast. Go.
I mean, I'm picking Cree Summer.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Gotta
Good.
go.
Voiceover
Good,
queen.
Yeah, you got to go with the Queen.
Okay. Okay.
And as far as the voiceover guy, sure, I don't like who has a good voice.
Okay. All right. That's not who I would cast. I'm going to
I guess Keith David is too much. Would Keith David be too much?
Yeah.
He's too much.
Yeah. He's
Scaring the kids. Of course, there's a kid here who was watching A Soldier Story in the 3rd grade.
Not
For
out
recess.
of my own pleasure. This was forced upon me by my teachers.
You know who I would? I wanted to look it up to make sure I got their names. Deion Cole and Gabrielle Dennis.
Oh, that's a good choice because they've got great chemistry.
They got great chemistry on the Old Spice commercials.
Yeah, they do.
And I would love to see I would have them do the voice.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
There you go.
All right. Let's make that happen.
Let's make it happen. All right. So thank you for that email, Michael. Appreciate that, and we appreciate all your emails, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to send your emails to us, want to hear your emails read, email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. Before we move on, I want to give you a moment you wanted to talk about our episode on When the Levees Broke.
Yeah, I mean, I love all y'all's episodes. If I can't watch in real time, I do go back. And I also subscribe to the podcast. So when I can't sit and watch, I just listen at work. Oh. And I don't know, I just felt like the same thing that Michael said in his emails, like the care that y'all really put into that episode was like really felt. And I remember that time because it was my junior or senior year of college. And so like my best friend from high school was going to Xavier, and she had gone home for, I forgot why she came home, but it was like, there's no going back to school for you. And I'm going to school with a lot of people from New Orleans. So it was kind of like, are y'all gonna be able to come back to school? What does that even look like? And then when folks from New Orleans were essentially bused to Atlanta, they were staying like in our off-campus dorms. So it was like you're hearing these stories of people talking about what happened during, the storm. And these are people are now like your neighbors or, you know what I'm saying? So you're seeing and you're interacting with them. So it was like Katrina kind of was like permeated my life in 3 different ways. And just the care around the episode. And it was, I could feel the rage. I can feel the rage, and also I love how you all talked about the connections to COVID as well, and how we're kind of seeing the same thing happen again, and it's like being repeated again, and like everybody comes to Micheaux Mission to like laugh and joke and have a good time. So it was nice to have like a serious episode, but I still didn't feel bogged down like the email said as well. So
Well, appreciate
Yeah.
that.
We'll appreciate that. Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right.
All right.
Hey, you know what? Forgive me for a quick tangent.
Oh, sure. Because you know how much I hate those.
Yeah. Have y'all heard about some controversy that's bubbled up about Janet Jackson saying
Oh
something
my
out of her
goodness
mouth?
gracious. Are we really going to talk about that?
Why you turn your head away?
because that is just some like real auntie kind of stuff, you know.
No,
you tell-
because
you tell-
only
you
because
tell-
I just heard about it before I came to this
Look.
Oh
studio.
yeah.
Look.
She apparently came out of her mouth.
Right. She didn't know. She said Kamala Harris wasn't black. Yes.
She's like, well, that's what I heard, and for the journalist to say, well, that's not true, and her response being, well, that's what I heard.
Look.
That is aunties, real
Look,
bad.
it's not aunties at all. It's someone
not.
who is the aunt. Look, this is the same conversation I've been having. Pop quiz to both of y'all.
Oh boy.
How old were you when you learned how to tie your shoes?
I was definitely in pre-K,
Yeah.
So, like 5?
somewhere around
About
there.
five,
around
about
there.
5 years
5,
old.
6.
5, that's fair. Dylan, 5. Learn how to tie your shoes. 5. All of us 5. When Janet Jackson was 5 years old,
Somebody was tying her shoes.
she was on television doing the hustle with her brother. Janet Jackson has never, ever been in some kind of environment where she has been exposed to the real world. Like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, no. You're saying yeah as if I didn't say something that is objectively true because we have video evidence of it.
No, I hear you.
She's walking out.
Like, I don't know. In my mind, the real problem, what enraged me, was once again, this is another example of how the Jacksons are not protected. Why is she somewhere in a context that someone is asking her anything that's not about Rhythm Nation? Like, I don't want to hear Jack. Why are you
on,
saying,
man.
come on? Stop.
What do you mean stop? I mean,
Stop. I don't want to hear Janet Jackson talk about IKEA. Like, I don't want to hear Janet Jackson talk about anything. And no, look, this, what you want from her?
I mean, would you look?
She been living in London for 10 years. She been Janet Jackson her whole life. Again, when you learn how to tie your shoes, she was doing the hustle on television.
So
With Michael Jackson.
So what are you saying? So we shouldn't have expected anything more than that?
No, I'm saying, why are you asking Janet Jackson something about Kamala Harris?
Well, the context was because she made political music, and they're like, "Oh, I wonder what your thoughts are around contemporary politics." That's how the article went.
Stop. No, because I'm calling foul on people. Act like she made what's going on. She made Rhythm Nation, and she's made music up to the Velvet Rope. She said racism is bad.
I mean, yeah.
Being evil is bad.
You're right.
Don't hate people.
Don't get me wrong.
We should love people.
You're right. She's made political music on the same level as Michael Jackson made political music,
Right.
which means that it's just basically
Right.
pop, whatever.
Right.
No, I hear you. I agree with you on that. However, I don't think. First of all, let me ask you, are you saying that the reporter is out of line for just asking her the question?
Yes, I am saying that if you think about every single solitary legacy celebrity,
Yeah.
no one asks them anything about anything because there's a whole machine in place that says, we are not doing this with this person. This person is, and this is part of a long line of things that happens with people in the Jackson family, that because it's, I'm about to drop an F-bomb. Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus around them, trying to make, like, no one says, Janet doesn't talk about that. We're not talking about that with Janet Jackson. She's Janet Jackson. We don't talk about, like, why are we, like, what are we doing? Like, why are you asking Janet Jackson stuff about stuff? I
don't think it's out of line to ask her anything. And I think, honestly, the question was pretty much a layup that she just...
Stop.
I do.
And then the cleanup was messy too, because then the apology came out, and then somebody said, "Oh, that person isn't actually on the team."
In my mind,
that's why I feel you when you're saying they're not being protected,
right? Because the dude that spoke for her,
right,
did not work, and I don't blame her because I know how this works. That dude said, "I'm speaking for Janet today," and Janet apologizes. And 2 weeks from now, he gonna say Janet had an unfortunate accident and said, "I get all the money."
No, I understand.
Like, you got this.
No, I understand her.
Right. Let's not act like this Jackson's thing is not within. And look, stop. This is all these people. I saw someone, and it's so true, where they said it's a shame that Prince died before COVID, because we've gotten all this great Prince music and this, that, and the other. But we also would have had to listen to Prince talk about COVID and his thoughts on COVID.
Right. I don't want to hear celebrities say anything.
Nas is my favorite. I say it all the time. My favorite MC of all time.
Yes.
I don't want nobody to ask Nas about vaccines.
Okay.
Like, don't ask Nas nothing about that. Today is the 33rd anniversary of my favorite album of all time, The Low End Theory.
There you go.
I don't want nobody to ask Q-Tip
or Ali
Shaheed Muhammad nothing about science, about women's rights, women's reproductive rights. Don't ask them nothing. I want to hear how you picked the samples and how this. And this is what I said to my wife this morning. My fervent prayer is that nobody goes to the small English village where my queen is sitting in the kitchen eating beans on toast in a flannel shirt. I don't want nobody to ask Helen Sade Adu nothing. Don't ask her nothing. Not a thing. Let her sit in her cottage quietly.
On the toast, okay?
Quietly. Oh, not a thing. Not a thing. What are you doing? Why the hell are you asking Janet Jackson stuff?
About stuff.
About stuff. How'd she know about stuff? And let's be look, let my ass let my ass get famous. I ain't gonna know nothing about nothing. I saw a clip, and this is true. I saw a clip. Chris Rock had just gotten famous, so it was after Bring the Pain, and Chris Rock was on Oprah.
Okay,
and Oprah was asking him about, being famous, kind of breaking through and what's it like being famous. And Chris Rock said, it's weird because you start to become detached.
Yeah.
And I realized that I had forgotten my ATM card number. And Oprah Winfrey had a look on her face where I bet my left arm she did not know what an ATM machine was. Like, Chris Rock was talking about an ATM machine, and she didn't know what an ATM machine was. Like, what do you... Eddie Murphy, they asked him about something, and he talked about being in the house, and the computer was making some kind of noise. And Eddie Murphy said, I just pulled the plug out the wall, because I know it runs on electricity, but I don't really understand. Why are you asking Janet Jackson about stuff? Y'all got anything to add?
No.
Thank you.
Janet Jackson, what do you think about? Her ass has lived in London for 10 years. You was learning how to tie your shoes. She was reading lines to be Penny. Asking Janet Jackson. Who the hell? Where are your people? Where are Janet Jackson's people?
Well, her people is Randy.
Yeah,
Randy. Right.
I mean, well, okay.
Right there.
That does give you a window.
Right.
Into
That's the brain
mindset.
Shout out to Randy.
Hey, man, Randy and the Gypsies was not a bad album. And I'd love to talk to Randy about Randy and the Gypsies.
That's about it.
And I want to talk about playing the bongos with the Jacksons. He was playing the bongos. Hey, Randy, let's talk about the bongos. Let's talk about let's talk about. Hey, Randy, I'm thinking about going to Sweet Green and getting a salad. You want to get a salad from Sweet Green? What should I get on my salad from Sweet Green, Randy? Why you? No.
Dylan, make a note. I need a T-shirt that says, "Hey, Randy, let's talk about the bongos."
I ain't asking some damn Janet Jackson about. Why are you asking Janet Jackson about anything? Let that woman be an icon and live in her world. Like, she's an icon. We love Janet Jackson. Like, again, I'm angry that nobody swooped down and protected Janet.
And said, no,
hey, man, what does Marie Osmond think about politics lately?
I don't.
You know why? Because the Osmonds locked that shit down. Uh-huh. We make $30,000 off of that one bad apple streams. That we're gonna keep that $30,000. Oingo Boingo. Anybody know what Oingo Boingo thinks about the election? How about Tears for Fears? Tears for Fears. Can you? Have we heard from Tears for Fears? Asking some damn Janet Jackson some questions about Kamala Harris. Let that woman live her life.
Well, mail-in ballots, sign-ups are here, everybody. So make sure you vote.
Hey.
November 5th.
Yes.
I'm sure Adam Ant has thoughts.
And now it's time for the top 5.
Top 5. Who's your top 5? My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5.
Top 5, where I present a list, and Vincent and our very special guest, Stephanye Watts of the Be Real Black Cinema Club, lend their scintillating commentary to it. And the commentary has been off the hook so far. Let's see what we can do as we move forward. Keeping in theme, we're going to be reviewing Tell Them We Are Rising, the story of black colleges and black universities, as our Doc to School closes out tonight. So I am looking at fraternities, mostly, that featured in the movies.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So
Assuming my favorite one's going to be number 1. We'll see.
we shall see. Starting all the way down at number 5 with Theta Nu Theta, which featured in Stomp the Yard from 2007, where Rich meets with DJ at a stepping competition on the green between the truth chapters of the rival fraternities Theta Nu Theta and Mu Gamma Z. The Mu Gamma crew, 7-time national stepping champions, easily steals the show until DJ runs right through their step line in an attempt to speak to April,
Sure.
the other side of the room.
Sure.
Stomp the Yard.
Surprisingly entertaining.
You say that. all
I
the time
do.
about
I
it.
do.
You're,
Stomp the Yard is iconic personally because they shot that at Clark Atlanta.
yes, they did.
And my freshman dorm window faces the field, so I see my window every time I watch the movie, even though I came the year after they shot it. But I still feel like, I'm in the window waving.
Also like it because Darren Henson plays the evil fraternity guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like 42 years old.
Right. and the guy from Love Jones is also on the line, isn't he? What's his name?
Oh,
I can't.
But it's funny. But it's
Sound
also
like you're very grown.
it's also accurate. Like it's always that real old dude
This is true.
who just has not.
non-traditional student.
Right. We used to call them super seniors.
Yeah, super
Yeah.
seniors.
super seniors. Super seniors. Yeah, that's the movie with Columbus Short, Megan Good, Chris Brown, and actually was a bit of controversy in that movie from the Alphas. Actually, threatened to boycott the film because some of there was footage.
Yeah, that's
of
right.
Stepping
That's
that
right.
was used.
That was not
in the
clear.
film. Yeah, that was not clear.
Yeah.
But they ultimately got it straightened out. So yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
All right, that was number 5.
Number 5.
Number 4, as we move along here, from 2003, Lambda Epsilon Omega, the fraternity from Old School.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
From 2003. This
yeah.
movie might well have been how the frat pack got its name. The 2003 follows 3 30-somethings attempting to regain their lost youth by starting a fraternity that anyone can join, up to and including 90-year-old men.
Yeah. Blue. Yeah, Blue.
Old School was also the first film.
You're my boy, Blue. You're my boy, Blue. That's right.
Old School was also the first film to show the comic potential of Vince Vaughn, Luke Wilson, and Will Ferrell in lead roles in the same movie. It also featured one Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Caused a bit of controversy. He caused chaos on the set because he arrived several hours late with his entourage. Him and his crew spent hours smoking, of course, and inviting extras into their trailer, which caused further delays and potentially compromising the safety of a few young female extras.
Sure.
On the set. And the director got too high to function and had to be replaced, with Will Ferrell ending up getting drunk while waiting on Snoop Dogg.
Frank the Tank.
Oh my God.
It tastes so good when it touches my lips. Yeah, we're going streaking. We're going to the KFC.
That is a movie that
Love that.
does not disappoint.
Love that damn Old School.
Yes. Were you a fan of Old School?
I mean, I love Will Ferrell and I love the Wilsons.
And
So,
she just said, "You're my boy, Blue.
There you go.
You're my boy, Blue."
All right, number 3. This may be a controversial selection for number 3.
Okay.
Delta Tau Chai from Animal House.
oh,
The godfather of college movies, Animal House still hasn't been beaten for the way it's inspired different generations to chant, "Toga, Toga."
Yeah.
The classic National Lampoon comedy pretty much invented the much common frat movie characters, the crusty dean, the snobby upper-class rival house, and of course, the hard-drinking, hard-partying fraternity. In this case, the riotous Delta House. You ever wanted to watch grown men drink an entire bottle of whiskey? This is definitely the movie for you. John Belushi's gang of drunks and scoundrels may not have had the best grades in the university, but they definitely got the best grade on many lists of fraternities in movie. This also featured the fictional singing group Otis Day and the Knights.
Otis Day and the Knights.
Are you a fan of Animal House, Vincent?
You know what? I think I am, but I realize I haven't seen Animal House in probably 20 years.
it's been so long.
Yeah. And I'm wondering how well it holds up.
It's probably not okay.
Oh, well, as far as PC, no. But
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, like by like 2024 Gen Z, it's not going
But is it funny?
I laugh still.
Okay.
at it.
Yeah, I realize I haven't seen Animal
I
House.
feel like I watched it over the pandemic. It was one of the movies I watched over the pandemic, and I enjoyed it. Now, I don't. Maybe it's member berries that's making me laugh at everything, and maybe, but I still enjoyed it.
Okay.
And I just love watching Otis Day and the Knights.
Sure, of course.
I like that. All right, number 2
Number 2.
from 1984. Perhaps, possibly, the best frat name of all time.
Okay.
Lambda, Lambda, Lambda.
Lambda, lambda, lambda.
From Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah. Yeah.
How could we not give credit to the historically black fraternity
Yeah.
that gave a couple of nerds
Yes.
their own chapter?
Yeah, it's a solid plot point.
That's right.
Yeah.
This classic 1984 teen comedy showed that superior intelligence could be applied to panty raids and seducing cheerleaders. The premise, a gang of awkward, rejected students decide to start their own fraternity house and take revenge on the jock rivals. Have you seen...
On like TNT a million years.
Oh, you haven't.
So I
seen
gotta
it.
like really.
Yeah,
see it.
you've got to really.
Yeah, and speaking of things that don't age, seducing is doing a lot of work in that sense.
Okay. Yes. It's not. It's not. That's a movie that
Yeah,
really.
Revenge of the Nerds is like, oh, it's hijinks, it's hijinks. Oh my God, I think they just raped her.
Yeah.
Hijinks,
Wow.
hijinks, hijinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. It doesn't age well.
Right.
Ugh. Maybe we should bump it down.
Well, you know what? But it's like, to Vince's point, it is a solid plot point that it is a black fraternity that it's inclusive enough to allow them to open up that.
And I've never seen a movie that talks about the differences between white fraternity and black fraternity life.
Yeah.
Right? It just has a rape in the middle of it. It's like, what the hell?
Crazy.
I mean, okay, but I mean, look,
okay.
there are, that happens.
Right,
Movies
right.
that don't age well.
Right. I'm looking right at you, Sweet 16. Yeah.
Sweet 16. You know what sweet I was looking at.
With Sweet 16 with not Tiffany, Molly Ringwald.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie. Oh.
Yeah.
You see, when we watch things in real time or close to real time that they came out, it doesn't feel as terrible. But then when you watch it now, you're kind of like, oh.
This is why nobody
wow.
watches Pepe Le Pew cartoons anymore.
Yeah.
Number one.
Number one,
Dark times.
And I'm sure Vincent.
I will flip everything over in here if it's not G5G. The Black and Silver.
Gamma Phi Gamma.
Here it is.
Spike Lee's second feature film, School Days from 1988.
There it
the
is.
musical about race and identity in the black college community. Oh, and it's also a comedy about fraternity and sorority pledges with their military discipline, uniforms, and even coordinated dance moves. The G5G House, led by Breaking Bad's Giancarlo Esposito,
Big Brother Almighty.
Almighty.
are tough, but also slightly camp. But it's a musical. You expect that. Just don't tell that to their faces. Memorable moments from this movie include the Straight and Nappy song, which was controversially accused of promoting racial stereotypes and got the director banned from filming at several black colleges.
That's right.
The finished cut of the movie also included an actual unscripted fight that was filmed happening on set between cast members. Most real-life frats probably don't see that much action. School Days.
Yeah.
A huge favorite here on the mission.
It's a big sloppy mess. But yeah, love School Days. Love School Days.
The most iconic scene, which is very end, Wake Up, that is also Clark Atlanta University.
I was about to say, I thought they finished filming it when they got kicked off of Morehouse's campus. Yeah.
Well, there's controversy with that because Spike always be talking Morehouse, but he took all of his film classes at Clark Atlanta University because Morehouse does not have radio, TV, film, major equipment, nothing. So was he enrolled at Morehouse? Sure. But everything he learned, everything he knows is from Clark Atlanta University.
All right.
Well, he
Rep
needs
your
to big
school.
them up. Yeah, somebody needs
And
to
cut a
them up.
check.
Yes.
Rep your school.
Just
I don't
saying.
like to look at the screen, but Miss McKee would just say the great. Well, you talk more shit than a little bit. Back to Africa. We are all, without question, African Americans. I'm from Detroit, Motown. You back there, you can Watusi your monkey ass back to Mother Africa.
It's the way he say Africa that every time.
They're on there talking about Breaking Bad. Come on, man. Giancarlo Esposito been doing that work. Oh,
Yeah, he has.
absolutely.
He ate that.
Jane, this was the final test. You failed. You don't see Julian. You've been blinded by the Black and Silver. All you see is Big Brother Almighty.
and looking parts.
He said, "What? What? You boned my frat brother?" Oh,
Classic.
classic.
Classic. There's actually a clip of Jasmine Guy like talking about the Gamma Ray episode that's been floating around Instagram lately. That was just so cute. She's like, "Get it, Tisha. Get it,
Oh,
Tisha."
oh,
All right. Well, that has been the top 5.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for playing. Thank you for playing along. And now it's time for the Game of Kings.
That's right. And the smallest fraternity in the world, just us.
6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin. Six Degrees of D'Urville Martin, where Vincent has 6 movies or less to connect an actor that I give him to D'Urville Martin, a man too big for any college.
That's right.
All right, Vincent, we're going to keep this in theme.
Okay, keep it in theme.
These are 2 actors that have attended HBCUs.
Okay, all right.
All right. Beginning with number 1 in 6 films or less.
Okay.
Connect D'Urville Martin to
2.
Erykah Badu.
Erykah Badu.
Erykah Badu.
Okay. So Erykah Badu is in.
Who attended Grambling University, even though she did not graduate.
Sure. So what was Erykah Badu in? The funny thing is I want to put her.
You have a lifeline in Stephanie.
Oh, I didn't know if I could say something.
What's she in?
She was in, is it Cider House Rules? And she was in, oh my God, that movie.
Well, let's stop there. She was in
okay.
the Cider House Rules. Does that help you?
It does not.
Okay, you can give him one more clue.
And she was in the movie with the main guy. He dies, white actor. He was young. He died. His car rolled over him in real life. And Williams from Mrs. Doubtfire. Robin Williams was also in the movie playing a special needs gentleman.
My goodness.
It's a very iconic movie. It's something August. And she was this woman that lived in the prison, but she would the kid would talk to her all the time.
You're not talking about Paul Walker, are you?
No, not Paul Walker. It was a guy younger than Paul Walker.
The film you're referencing, I don't see anything August on her filmography.
It's definitely.
All is Insider House Rules. That's one of those movies that people used to talk about and everyone loved it, but then no one talks about it anymore.
It's not something August.
Cider House Rules is the movie that made Tobey Maguire a star. Also in there are.
I mean, I can use Tobey Maguire, but I'm gonna do the Marvel mash. Anybody else in there more interesting than Tobey Maguire?
Kieran Culkin.
No, but I'll do Tobey Maguire. But I'll because we just talked about it. Because
How about this? Because you don't want to do the Marvel thing.
no, I'm not gonna do the Marvel thing.
Okay, but I was gonna give you another name.
All right, who?
Michael Caine.
Okay, but I'm still gonna use Tobey Maguire because I'm gonna talk about School Days because D'Urville Martin is of course in Five on the Black Hand Side with Dick Anthony Williams, who is in Mo Better Blues with Samuel L. Jackson, who is in School Days with Bill Nunn, who is in Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, who's in Cider House Rules with Erykah Badu.
Very good. Very
So I
good.
wanted to talk about School Days.
The movie that you're talking about, Stephanie, is actually called House of D.
House of D. Yes. Oh, I used to love
I know
that
Bill Nunn.
movie.
Bill Nunn told that girl, you know what I think about when I saw you? Collard greens and cornbread. I ain't gonna lie. And Al Green. Because he was spitting game.
That would get me.
Then he took her back to the room, and Dap was in the room, and she said, "Your roommate is here." And he said, "If you don't scream, I won't holler."
Holla.
Which surprisingly didn't work.
All right, well done, Vincent.
All right.
All right, number 2.
Number 2.
In 6 films or less, connect Derville Martin,
2.
this graduate of Howard University.
Okay. All right. I live in a Howard house, so I can't mess this up.
Felicia Rashad.
Ah,
I took it easy on you.
the great Felicia Rashad. Well, I'll do this one quick because Derville Martin is in the final come down with Billy D. Williams, and then Billy D. Williams is in The Visit with Felicia Rashad.
Well. La-dee-da. I guess you got that right. Very good. But I took it easy on you.
Yeah, because I guess I could have went Creed. Did you see the trailer? Speaking of Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan.
The what?
Did you see the trailer for Not Blade?
It's called Sinners.
Yeah.
No, I
didn't
haven't
watch
seen
it yet, though.
I haven't seen the trailer. Is this a Michael B. Jordan movie?
It's the Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler vampire movie.
Does it look good?
Yeah, the trailer is, you know, it has been a real joy watching Ryan Coogler grow as a filmmaker. And, you know, it's just a trailer. But you can tell this is Ryan Coogler after Black Panther, after Wakanda. Like this, like you can tell he's a filmmaker that is very assured with a lot of tools.
Okay.
Like it looks like a big movie
Okay.
with a whole lot of black people.
Is it a period piece?
It's a period piece.
Whoa, where's it set? When's it set?
You know, the 20s, 30s, you know, it's black
So it's set back in
Right, it's black people in apple hats,
Ooh, I wanna
suspenders.
see it.
Oh, now this tweet I saw makes sense. Somebody said, I know Jonathan Majors is watching this trailer sick at
I
home.
know.
And I was like, what are they talking about?
Right, because it's 100% something he wants to be in.
It's like made for him.
Right.
Oh,
Like he was thinking, I can't believe they're wearing knickers.
oh man, now I really want to see it.
Yeah.
You know, I love a period piece.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, The Sinners. I'm gonna go and watch that trailer when I go home.
Yeah.
Maybe can we just stop the show real quick?
No. I think we got to review a movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, let's.
Joe Orlando is in it too.
Oh man.
Yeah, I didn't see him in the trailer, but I know he's in the movie.
Man, now I really want to see the movie.
All right.
Why we gotta do this? All right.
It's our whole shtick.
Oh, well, Stephanie's here. All right, we're going to review a movie now. No, it's time for us to review Tell Them We Are Rising here on the Micheaux Mission. The history of black colleges and universities in America, which has educated the architects of freedom movements and cultivated leaders in every field. Tell Them We Are Rising, the story of historically black colleges and universities, is a documentary that up for review tonight, directed by Marco Williams and the great Stanley Nelson Jr. And it was our guest, Stephanye Watts of the Be Real Black Cinema Club's selection for this, our final stop of Doc to School in September. Stephanie, what say you of Tell Them We Are Rising?
It's the best documentary. Well, actually, the only documentary I've ever seen about HBCUs, and it's so well done because it tracks from the founding, which I don't want y'all to fight in the comments, but we're going to say that Cheney is the first HBCU, 1837. But some people like to tussle, so I didn't go there. I'm about my business. Through the 90s, which was like seen as kind of like the peak of HBCUs, even though I feel like we're having a renaissance right now. But yeah, and it just really connects the dots. And it, I think for a lot of people in contemporary times, they see HBCUs as like just some place to hang out. You know, they see it as like, oh, they're party schools, or everybody that goes there is bougie or whatever. And I think the film really talks about, as the log line or whatever says, that like HBCU alumni are really the architects of like African America in so many ways. Like you're going to find alum in everything that you do. So there was this controversy online around Kamala saying, well, HBCU people don't do nothing for black people. And I'm like, HBCU alum are your teachers, they're your social workers, They are your doctors, your nurses, you know. So it's like every faction of Black life in this country is touched by HBCUs. And yeah, I don't know. I'm proud to be part of that legacy. Both my parents was at HBCUs. All of my cousins, we all went to HBCUs. I was at Clark. My 3 boy cousins were at Morehouse. We're all the same age, so we started together and sort of ended together.
That's how it happens.
You know, all my inner circle of friends from high school went to HBCUs. The friends that I made in New York, like my inner circle of friends, they all went to HBCUs. So, you know, I just was like, let's do it. And also, homecoming season is around the corner. So
right.
October is homecoming season. So I just thought it would be really good to talk about this film.
So I'm curious because this the documentary definitely does dig deep into the history of not only just the history of the colleges and universities themselves, but actually the history of the thirst for knowledge and education of Black people. You know, as they are you know, quote unquote Americanized. You know, and I'm curious of how much of that history, which I will say this documentary tells with some absolutely beautiful, breathtaking archival footage.
There it is.
You know, of photos of, you know, of the freed Black people, people just thirsty for knowledge, you know, reading books, you know, how much of that is a part of the experience of going to an HBCU?
I think it's still a huge part of it. Like, the most embarrassing thing that can happen to you on an HBCU campus is to not have good grades. Like, your social standing tumbles with your grades.
Really?
Like, so, you know, it's very much about, like, who we used to say on point. You're like, oh, she not on point. Wow, we can't be fooled. We can't be seen with her because she ain't on point. You know, and so I think that thirst for knowledge, that thirst to uplift our people in a real way is still something that exists on HBCU campuses. And I think that also, which people don't realize, majority of the people that are going to HBCUs, even now, are first generation. They might be the first person in their family to go to college. And so this is a big moment, not just for the student that's on the yard, but their family back home is so proud of them to get them to this point. So, you know, even though we're talking about 1830s when, you know, slavery is still happening in this country, people are getting an education, that same thirst, that same, like, I want to be something still exists now in 2024. You know, I was just on the yard last week with my mentee, and I'm like, man, like, I still see it. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think to kind of pick up what you said with the footage, I think what impressed me just as a documentary is how well done it is. And, you know, what I put in my notes is you can tell this is a PBS.
Yes, it is a PBS documentary.
A PBS documentary because, again, just the sheer volume of historical footage, of as you said, the photographs. I love the fact that it's historian after historian after historian, and for me, the grounding in history, in a lot of ways elevated it into something that you know, I think it's one thing to kind of talk about a subject and, you know, okay, well, these are HBCUs, this is when they were founded, so on and so forth. But I love the fact that it put Black education within the framework of this is something that racist white America saw as dangerous. Like, Black people learning something is dangerous. And this goes back to slavery, where, you know, it was illegal for an enslaved person to learn how to read. And the fact that they spent time with that before they roll into formal education. I love the fact that they talked about the dynamic of HBCUs and just how dangerous it was initially, and you know, all of the arson and terrorism and lynching and murder that was connected to it. And you know, I knew some of that, but you know, to have it all in one place, and the, you know, one of the things that I learned that I thought was amazing, again, why you get historians involved, there's a detail where they talk about, you know, the man who began Hampton when it was Hampton Institute.
Yes.
And you know, racist guy who just thought black people were incapable of any type of anything besides servitude.
Right.
And he kind of starts it to train black people to be better servants.
Yeah, right.
And then Booker T. Washington, who is his prized pupil, goes and to Tuskegee and kind of
Institute.
you know, and
Mirrors that.
it mirrors that. But what I was saying is, by selling this black education initially as, well, we're going to make better trained servants, it kind of gave us a little breathing space. Because again, there was this very active movement to destroy our places of education. Like, they did not want us educated. They did not want us. And I love the fact that this is articulated. Like, you know, I think we talk a lot now to you know, talking about this resurgence in HBCUs now, this, that, and the other. But I think we have a lot of conversation about black people receiving education, and it's and the type of quality of education we receive, and how open we are to education, and what happens with our kids, and, you know, going into college. But it's still a lot of like it really is very American
Yeah.
to be resistant to black education, which means that black education is intrinsically radical. And I love that part of it. Like, I think this was a celebration of black schools, as well it should have been. I think it was an acknowledgement of the resilience and and certainly just learning in and of itself is a beautiful thing. But I love the fact that it is very well articulated throughout this that black learning is dangerous. Yeah. And that was my favorite part, along with, again, just that the level of quality with the footage and everything.
It's interesting you brought up about Booker T. Washington. This documentary touches on the tension that existed between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. Because of Booker T's...
Who also was a professor at Clark Atlanta University. It was Atlanta University then.
Okay, all right.
I'm always gonna bring my school up.
No, that's fine. That's
Yes.
fine. That is fine. But I'm telling you right now, one more time, and Vince is going to say we need a check. But
You know what? We don't. We don't. You know, I let the kids go to school. So
that's true. That's true. But I like that it when they talk about that tension between the two, because Booker T. Washington starts Tuskegee Institute, and you talked about, and the documentary points out about how he, you know, purposefully, you know, mirrors what is happening at Hampton Institute in the Tuskegee Institute, as far as having teaching the students about trades, you know, trades first, right? And that's how he's even marketing the Tuskegee Institute, and the tension that W.E. Du Bois and other people at that time had with that, because it's like, no, we need to aspire to, you know, higher forms of education so that we can actually be the doctors and the people that calls the shots, right? And there's nothing wrong with W.E. Du Bois's point of view about that. But because, you know, W.E. Du Bois is someone who was so learned and so respected, it started to, even in black people at that time, demonize Booker T. Washington a little bit, right? Sure. And it was interesting, just on Black History Year, the show I do with Push Black, we had a guest on there, Marlon Ross, and he was talking about how Booker T. Washington actually, you know, on the low, was all about what everything that W.E. Du Bois was putting out, but he realized that I needed to have Tuskegee Institute set up in this way so that it would be passable for them, and he would now have a lane by which he could operate, and then he could then on the low funnel money and funnel resources so that other initiatives could exist, right? So and unfortunately that is something that is not touched on in this documentary, but in this documentary was from 2017. Marlon Ross, the person that I talk about, his work came out in 2020. But it was interesting for me to see that, because both sides of the coin are there's justification in both. We
need the learneds, as you say, and we need folks in the trades. We need us everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that kind of tension was mostly exacerbated because people saw Booker T. Washington as somebody that was like willing to bow down to white people because of I think it's 1865 or whenever he gave that like grand speech.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of just put a bad taste in people's mouth. They didn't want to hear nothing he had to say. Why are you asking Booker T about stuff?
Right. Right.
But also I think what was really interesting is the difference between HBCUs that were founded by black people and HBCUs that were founded by white people, and how they talk about that in the film. And to take it back to W.B. Du Bois, his daughter was at Fisk.
Yes.
And with this white president that was like, y'all dumb, y'all not nothing, whatever. And she wrote home and told W.B. Du Bois what was going on at Fisk.
Guess what?
And Fisk, of course, because he's W.B. Du Bois, you bring him to speak at the school. And he basically dragged the whole administration and was like, get these white people up out of here.
Well, I love the first line of his speech is, I have come here to criticize. And then he just goes to town.
Oh.
But I think, to your point, again, I love how much they explored sort of the intra-collegiate dynamic in these HBCUs. To your point, there's this whole, and you see it now when you see, the tensions between alumni and the board and the student body and this, that, and the other, where it's almost like you teach these kids to be smart and independent. And when you teach a kid to be smart and independent, well, they're smart and independent, which means that they buck.
That's right.
And they push. And I love how, there was this moment where, as you said, all of the presidents of these colleges were white, but the student body was black. And again, especially after World War I, and you start moving into the Harlem Renaissance, the quote unquote new Negro
That's right.
is not having it. But again, you see it mirrored once you move into the civil rights era,
Right.
where again there's this push and pull. But I think that's sort of the tradition of Black college. I was on my wife went to Howard, and there's a moment in here where they talk about the Howard students taking over the administration building, and I teased my wife because they took over the administration building when she was there, and I was like, well, it's just tradition. Like, the students protest, and sometimes you got to take over a building.
Oh, they ran down on administration 2 years ago when their dorms were getting flooded.
Look.
They had the tent city and everything at Howard.
I said, I love these rowdy ass kids. I love when students, because as they say on here, you're talking about what have HBCUs done for you. We get to sit in this room. We get to have the lives that we have, frankly, because of the civil rights movement that was started by these rowdy ass HBCU students.
Yeah.
So look.
And again, you're talking about things being dangerous. There are still bullet holes in buildings at North Carolina A&T, and was the film talking about, was it Southern?
Southern
University.
Southern,
where 2 students were killed.
A story that you don't hear about.
Yeah. I didn't know about that story. I knew about
Kent State,
North Carolina A&T, but I didn't know about Southern, and that was crazy.
I could see a whole documentary about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and it's because these students were literally being attacked, murdered, attempted murder because of their radicalness you know. And I think a lot of people be like, again, HBCU students are so bougie and we're so this, but it's like, who was at them counters?
Well,
Who was filling up SNCC?
the irony about what happened, so towards the end of the documentary, they spend a significant amount of time talking about something that happened at Southern in the 70s, and it ended
72, I
up
think.
72, and it ended up with the National Guard being called in, and 2 students were shot and killed. But the impetus for the protests was that Southern is a public university in Louisiana, and they found out, which it still I think it's what's happening at Tennessee State. The state
School of Oprah Winfrey.
School of Oprah Winfrey, yes.
She is an HBCU alum, y'all.
Yes, she is. But the state was spending half as much money per student for the black students than they were for the white students. And the students protested because, well, we deserve the money that our
Exactly.
white counterparts are getting. But one thing Booker T. Washington was always adamant about, we got to control our finances. Like, it's economics. And you know, that was one, like you talked about how they didn't really show the complexity of Booker T. Washington. That was one part that I was like, you know,
They missed the opportunity.
like, you know, I wish we'd have talked, especially again when the root of what happened at Southern was economics. So
Yeah, I did like that. They spend a little bit of a time with Thurgood Marshall. That was good to have his name lifted up again. You know, the way that it was in Brown versus Education. It's beautiful.
Oh, the Howard Law School story is
Iconic.
It really is, and certainly, if you know anyone who went to Howard Law School, you've heard the story. Look, I think tradition, heritage, pride, you know, culture. You get this is you know, this is all of it, and the thing that I really liked, how it kind of ends in the current time, and as you said, I think we are going through a bit of a resurgence, but you know, we have a generation or two now that we have been in fully integrated spaces, and they had a young woman who articulate, you know, I was one of a few. I was the only. And there's so many of our kids who went, you know, I was the only one. I was this. And this is a space where I don't have to be the only. This is a space where I can, you know, be surrounded by people like me. And it really was this wonderful journey where you see the role that HBCUs play from the beginning to right now.
There is a story that they share. They don't spend a whole lot of time on it, but it is on a couple that have been married for 68 years
I know that's right.
that met
Yes.
at a HBCU. You know, he saw her, you know, at admissions.
Look, man. Shoot your shot, young man.
Shot his shot.
Shoot your shot, young
And
man.
Still with her today, and it was a beautiful story of them together. But if I had to make one critique of this documentary, that would be it. Not the inclusion of that. I would have liked. The historians you kind of need, especially in the history part, to give you the context of the history and the why. But I think that there could have been more space made for more of the personal stories.
Sure.
To really like see that journey, because like that couple stands out, and then like you say, the last 10 minutes when we're now in the current time, which are more personal stories too, they'll stand out. But by then you're at the last 10 minutes of the film, and I think there were opportunities to lace in a little bit more of the personal, just to make a little bit more of a story
Sure.
of what this was. And my critique is that you said it. This is very much a PBS documentary.
Yeah.
But it's a PBS documentary like by the numbers. You know, you get the historians, you get your talking heads, you know, you've got your little caption logs, you know, beautiful archival footage. But when it dips into the personal stories here and there, that's when it starts to be a little bit different. And that's when it actually is its most interesting to me, you know.
Yeah, I think it could have been a film in 4X, like When the Levees Broke, because it was so much that you don't get a chance to dive into. And I think the personal anecdotes are important because the film is really like prestige, legacy, history, you know. But the small moments, like the couple, humanizes the HBCU experience, which I think it has this like weird pedestal that it's on.
Absolutely.
But we just regular black people. You know what I'm saying? That's from regular places. And I think that that would have definitely lended to that part of the story if we were allowed to kind of humanize it a little bit more and have, I'm not saying it needs to be a 4-hour film, but you can do, you know, like 4 installments. You know, it would have been really nice to see.
You know, it's interesting. To your point, you get the sense that this is, as you said, it's got a sheen to it. You know, and it really is. We are going to present this information in such a way to let you know. You know, the development of the HBCU, its historical standing. So, you know, again, it's historian, and then you get a split second with this couple, and I almost feel like when the documentary was made, 2017, they thought this was going to be it. Like, this is really this is the HBCU package and statement. And you know, I think we're living in this moment, frankly, this kind of post Kamala Harris moment where HBCUs are really on this big stage where, you know, really since, frankly, the Cosby Show and Different World, this is probably the most spotlight that HBCUs have gotten on a national stage.
I'll be honest, I would love for them to see them touch on that a little bit.
What Different World?
Yeah.
Well, you know, again, that's sort of pop culture.
But how that did start a renaissance.
Yeah,
But-
it
but-
definitely did.
oh, yeah.
The moment shot up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But again, I think they thought, okay, we're going to make the PBS.
No, I understand, yeah.
Almost, you know, it's like a post Ken Burns.
The Ken Burns.
Right. It's the Ken Burns package, and this is the one we're going to get because, frankly, I don't know if we're going to be able to get funding to do another HBCU documentary.
Yeah.
So we got to make this prestige, and you know, I think going forward, I think there'll be more document. You know, again, I would love to do a documentary just on Southern. And what happened? Like I had never heard about that.
No,
like
yeah,
I didn't
I
know that had happened at all. And you know, it's an amazing story. And it's funny talking about when the levees broke. And one of the things that blew my mind is all the people that participated. They have the governor, the guy who was governor at the time, and he is unapologetic.
Oh, absolutely.
Which-
he don't give two.
Look, is crazy to me.
Yeah. That is a moment that stands out. It just makes you want more, right? It makes you want the oral history.
Well, I wanted to know that president of Southern who sold them out. Is he alive?
Yeah.
When did he die? What were the repercussions of this? But
But like you said, this is, you know, it's only like an hour and a half.
yeah, it's a relatively short documentary.
It's short. It's they probably figured it's their one time at bat. It's 2017. We're now 2024. We're now in the streaming age. We're now with multiple outlets. You know, not saying that PBS was the only outlet then, but you know, it's one of the few that probably, you know, could really pick up a documentary like that. Now, to what you're saying, you know, you could do a four-part series. You could do a 5-part series on HBCUs and, like, you know, you do history, and then you do one episode is all about Howard, then the history, and then one episode is all about Southern. You could just go from really the moments to moments and do actually, like Spike Lee did when the levees broke, do more of an oral history of it, personalize it more. You can then talk about the impact that of different world school days, had on just the profile of HBCUs. You could spend more than 10 minutes on where they are now,
Right, right.
what's going on now, because, it's all roses, roses, roses. And then when the film the stock turns to color, it's like, whoa, what happened to that building?
Right.
Now there's graffiti all over the place. Whoa,
Right.
where
But
we
Morris
at?
Brown is back, though. Morris Brown is back.
Very good.
Happy homecoming in advance to Morris Brown.
I mean, quite honestly, the dynamic in Atlanta, like what is?
That could be a documentary.
Well, I thought it was a lot of faults with the Freaknik documentary.
Yeah.
But I thought it did a really good job capturing the dynamic of Atlanta being a black college town. Like, there are obviously cities that have black colleges, but there are so many
And we're
Right
all
there.
on the same campus.
all on the same, but how that informs
Yeah.
the city politics and the way things work. And you can't show something and then not address it. And for them to, as you say, drop this really evocative image of Morris Brown and all of the challenges that Morris Brown has faced, but so many of those challenges are connected to being in Atlanta, which I love Atlanta and Wakanda, but Atlanta is always in Georgia. And, we talk about what happened with Southern, but it's a lot that goes with being a school in the state of Georgia.
And it's a Morris Brown is black founded HBCU. So there's that other layer of
Right.
bias against it. I think we're all talking about our dream HBCU documentaries. I would definitely love an AUC one. For anybody that's not familiar with Atlanta University Center it's Clark Atlanta, Spelman, Morehouse, Morris Brown, ITC, which is a theological school, and then Morehouse School of Medicine. And we're all on one campus. We all share one library, and we just have different buildings for each school. Yeah. And you can cross-register all the schools, yada, yada, yada. But I would love a documentary around the diversity of HBCUs, because people
Yes.
think when you go to a black school, everybody's the same. I hear also, why you going to HBCU? Everybody the same. Baby, the most diverse place I've ever been in my life, and I lived in New York for 15 years, and there is still no place more diverse than HBCU. And I mean that in any way you can think of diversity. But one thing that I would love in my dream HBCU documentary would highlight is the classism that exists at HBCU. So it's like, we talk about, oh, you don't got to deal with racism, because everybody black. But that classism hit different. And that was something that shook me when I got to my school. Because I was, in Philly, your dad could be a doctor, but you live in Germantown next to somebody whose mom might not work at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And y'all both wind up at Morgan, and it's not a thing. But getting down to school, and I'm meeting people whose parents' names is on the whatever the new building is that's being built. Because even though my family name is on the alumni house, but it's a 1-room shack. So, and it's my grandpa's family who we don't, know that well. But, it's like you're going to school with people. Like when I was at Clark, our campus was open. So it was within the neighborhood and on our campus, in between our school buildings, were people's houses. It was a church. And then between our main campus and where our gym was America's first housing project.
Wow.
And so we had to walk past the projects to get to the gym. And we would have a lot of events in the gym. So, we were passing this all the time. And I had classmates whose parents' names were on buildings. And then people who, went home to the projects after they left class.
Right.
And that was something I had just never experienced. And then to see the tensions between them.
Imagine.
And then the tension between Spellhouse and Clark Atlanta was deep too. I had a class at Morehouse, and this guy said to me, I don't know why you went to Clark. That's just not an elitist opportunity. And I was like, what?
Well,
And I was
Great.
like, well, I don't want to be an elitist, so
Right.
let's start there.
Well, the great thing about having Black people from all different walks of life and all different perspectives and all different everything is that all includes assholes. Mm-hmm. So,
Absolutely. And we got a lot of that.
Well, you were talking about, a different, like Gilbert Hall on Different World, Whitley Gilbert's family. So, it is, I try and look at the sunny side of things. Like, I love the fact that you have all of these different things and you don't have to say, oh, wow, that person is terrible. That means Black people are terrible. It's like,
Right.
well,
Right.
no, that person is terrible.
Right.
And then you can kind of go and do your thing.
Yeah.
But you got it all there.
With all that being said, would you, Stephanie, recommend that people watch Tell Them We Are Rising?
I force this film on everybody, and every time I watch it, I cry at the same exact part. So yes,
Which part is it when the Kendrick?
it's not. Listen, it's like the first 10 minutes when they're talking and they said, oh, well, we're writing these letters to people in the North about these HBCUs, and they said, well, what do you want people in the North to know about what we're doing down here? And this young boy who goes on to be a president of HBCU later in his life, he says, tell them we are rising.
Tell them we are rising.
I'm like crying all over again. That part just takes me out because, like, I told everybody on Instagram I was gonna cry. It just takes me out because it's just like, you got to think about, these are people who were like literally enslaved just like 2 years ago. Some
Right.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where like reading literally would get you killed, and now you're in college. Tell them we are rising. Like, oh my God, that takes me out. Every time. Every time.
Vincent?
I would as well. Look, I think education is the most powerful weapon on earth. Like God knows I love a good book. God knows we just talk about different things and this, that, and other. But let's be clear. I am Black, and when you Black, you look, keep your blade sharp. Keep your blade sharp and keep your head on the swivel. And I honestly do believe there's nothing more powerful than education. And while, you got to do the disclaimers, of course, I'm a huge proponent for formal education. I think any education that a Black person can get can be weaponized, and it needs to be weaponized. And again, as much as this documentary does have that PBS Ken Burns sheen to it, it's not like again, I love the fact that they foreground this reading of Black education, that I'm not doing this to get a job, I'm not doing this to philosophize and think about things, something real abstract. This is, the nicest way to say it is, this is a tool. It is utilitarian, but what we're really saying is this is a weapon, and in a moment where generally we are living in this anti-intellectual space, just as Americans, like this is it's this really weird moment where people are boast about not knowing things,
Are happy to not know.
right? Which is confusing, I think, just generally. But as a Black person, I find it reckless
Yes. Yes.
and dangerous. I think this documentary is amazingly instructive. Perhaps your third grade class, they should show this
yeah.
instead
Let's
of
swap out
instead of
Soldier Story.
Listen, pretty much everybody that went to that school went to HBCUs.
I mean, I guess they did. They want Sergeant Waters to slit their throat.
I didn't even tell y'all in fourth grade they were showing us Emmett Till's body. That's a whole other thing. Miss PA, I'll never forget that teacher. I was like, girl, what is happening? Then they took us to the Great Blacks and Wax Museum, had us in that slave ship. It was a lot.
Oh my God.
But yes, I would indeed recommend.
Wild times at Ivy Leaf Elementary and Middle School.
Gather the kids for recess. We're going to watch Roots.
We watched Queen, not Ruth. But Queen was just as bad as Roots.
Guys, Nigra.
Shout out to Holly Berry.
Always shout out to Holly Berry.
God. Huh. You earned those tears, my dear. You earned those tears. But I will make it 3 for 3. Definitely recommend that you watch Tell Them We Are Rising, the story of Black colleges and universities. It is must see viewing. All right. And I see Miss Makiba mentioned this is the part where I went to the PBS gift shop and bought the documentary. It's interesting. I was just having a conversation with someone about, physical media again.
Absolutely.
And wanting to, like be a little bit more intentional in rebuilding my DVD collection. And this is definitely one that is worthy for the shelf. So there you go.
Can I say one more Clark Atlanta thing?
Absolutely. No, look.
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. You're gonna give them the address to the gift shop?
Our store is popping. They had a little denim, little crop top I need to get for homecoming. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to say and like why I got so emotional is because I just also think about the people who came before me who walked through these same rooms as me, and I just get very overwhelmed because it's like, wow, I'm connected to this legacy of people. And so like besides like W.B. Du Bois, so I'm like, he has like there's like a gold bust of his head right where Lawrence Fishburne says wake up, like now it's a thing of Du Bois. But also the writers and musicians that wrote Lift Every Voice and Sing also went to Clark Atlanta University. So even when we sing that song, I just be bawling my eyes out. Everyone's like, girl, what is wrong with you? But it's like, yo, like I'm connected to the people that wrote that song. And I think that's what it is about HBCUs. It's of course the education, but also the family that you're now like kind of connected to and you're a part of, that you can always lean on. It will always support you. So yes, my Clark Atlanta fact is James Weldon Johnson and his brother wrote Lift Every Voice and Sing and are graduates of Clark Atlanta University.
There you go. All right. Stephanie, thank you so much for
Thanks for having me. I love coming on here.
All right. We love having you.
I finally got out the comment section. Because sometimes I zone out, y'all, when I be watching, and I'll just look at the comments because they be going off so bad.
They do. They be going in. We'll end the show and Dylan will tell us, yeah, I don't know if they were watching. There's like 300 comments going on.
Rapping.
They just be going. They be going.
It's community.
We love the missionaries.
Community.
We do. And before we tell you what we're going to be watching next month here on the Micheaux Mission, I invite you, if you love what Stephanie's got going down, you need to become one with the Be Real Black Cinema Club.
And do.
You can look them up on Instagram and hit her up. She responds to everything. Everything. I say hi within 2 seconds. Like, what, Len? I'm like,
I be trying.
You be on
Customer
it.
service is key when you're building community. So, but yeah, come out. We have monthly meetups in Philly and in Brooklyn every month. So come see us.
Yes, come see her. It is a great time. It is a great time. You would love it because he had 215 vinyl tap there, so you can get some stock up on your vinyl.
Yeah, Doogie be running my pockets bad.
Doogie's that dude. he got the crates, but well, let me tell you. All right. If you want to get in touch with the Micheaux Mission, you can email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUX MISSION@gmail.com. You can also find us on the social media of your choice, whether it be Instagram, X, or Facebook at Micheaux Mission, where you can, on Facebook, you can join the Facebook group where we chat with all of our missionary friends. You can also find us on YouTube at Micheaux Mission, where you can subscribe and hit the bell and be notified of when we go live every Tuesday night. When we put up new videos, I see a certain segment that will be going up within close to 24 hours. As soon as Dylan can get it to me, I will get it up there because you need, if you missed it, to hear what Vincent has to say about Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson alone.
Don't start him back up.
Please. All right. So yes, Check us out on YouTube. You can also subscribe to the Micheaux Mission wherever you find podcasts, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio. If you're listening to the podcast, the Micheaux Mission is there. So subscribe, follow, let us know that you like us by giving us a 5-star rating and review. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work, such as ours, which streams live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. If you would like to book some time in one of the fabulous studios that they have here at Young Junk, hit our man Dylan up, Dylan at youngjunk.com. That's DYLAN at youngjunk.com. You better hurry up. He just told me they booked about 4 more people just like over the weekend. They're stocking up. I told you they got clones of Dylans, like 80 Dylans stuffed in a room back there. But he'll find time for more for your work. All right. Next month on the Micheaux Mission, it's October.
Yeah.
Which means it is time for Bootober.
Yeah, and we get 5.
We get 5 this time.
You get 5 Tuesdays.
And we are going to start out with a doozy on October 1st, where it will be Vincent, it will be Len, it will be you, and you, and you, and us.
And us.
By Jordan Peele. Next week here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent. That's Stephanye. I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.